friends. My name is Antonio and you are welcome to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. Now, the only format here on YouTube where every day I'm showing a property for sale in the Italian market. Okay, so now let's start and let me introduce you today's property. Let's start from the location. Now we are in Lazio region. Lazio, the region where Rome is the capital, region that I don't cover very often, but today I found a very interesting property in, in this municipality called Serrone, in a hamlet called La Forma. Now, terraced house for sale in via G. Felici, 16. So they wrote terraced, not detached, as usual. So they are correct this time in the translation. The asking price, my friends, 27,000 euro. Extremely low price. The price is already reduced from 33,000 down to 27,000 and maybe even more negotiable. We'll discuss later about this. So the price has already dropped of 18%, which is not bad, which is a good amount of money. Then the property is a 60 square meters. So we are not talking about a very big property. It's around 700 square feet, but the house has two rooms, let's say two main rooms, but we have two bathrooms, one bathroom per each floor. The house develops on two levels, let's say. Then we have a cellar on the basement. But anyway, because the location, we are not extremely far from Rome, because I think the price could be even more negotiable. And then also the property is in a good condition. I'm not saying very good, but we are buying a property that technically could be the perfect holiday home without spending a big amount of money, not far from Rome. Okay, let's go here on Google Maps to show you better the location. So, as we see, we are in the central part of Italy. Now, let's keep zooming in. And as we see, we are not far from Rome. So, technically, we should be around 1 hour driving to Rome by car. And so, now here, let's go in the direction of the property. So we see that we are on a route that goes down to Rome, close to one of main station in Rome, which is Anagnina. And then we are in a beautiful area, anyway, surrounded by woods, beautiful hills, farming area. And then we are not far from Fuji, which is very famous for the water. Fuji water is one of the most expensive in Italy. Consider one also of the best qualities. Then, anyway, we are in Frosinone province. Let's zoom out 1 second. Okay. Simply to show you that here we have Frosinone. So let's say that we are in between Frosinone and Rome, but we are in Frosinone province. So let's keep zooming in to show you better the area. It says, anyway, it's part of Serrone Municipality. We see here the town of Serrone. And then if we keep zooming in, we see that we are very close to Serrone. So we are very close to the town, but we are in this hamlet called La Forma, which it looks big as much as Serrone. But anyway, this area, all this area where the property is part of Serrone Municipality. Let's keep zooming in. So we see that here we have one of the main route, SR 155. That's what this road is called. So where we have buses that are bringing us down to Rome. So let's keep zooming in, simply to show you, anyway, that the property is in this street, at the end of this street. Lovely area, as we see, surrounded by beautiful hills, green forest, and also farming area. Now, surrounded by, it's not a completely isolated property. And now let's do just a 360 degrees to understand a bit better the area. So this is a anyway is an important street which where the buses are driving and are leading to many different destinations. These are the houses around the town, around the house for sale, and we see anyway that it's a lovely area here in Lazio province, Lazio region, Frosinone province, not far from Rome. This is a cul-de-sac, the sign that we see here, this T, that's what we in Italy represents a cul-de-sac. Okay, my friends, and now we can go back to the property and start investigating all we have to know. So let's read the property description because it's also important to have an idea about what the property offers. And then, my friends, if you like this type of format, if you like this type of videos, daily videos about properties for sale in the Italian market, you can put like and subscribe. It's highly appreciated. Okay, leading real estate agency offers for sale in Serrone. So we are in Serrone Municipality, in the hamlet of La Forma, connected to main public and commercial services. So we are not isolated. In a panoramic and not isolated setting, a semi-detached house arranged on two levels. So it's not terraced, but semi-detached. We'll see. Ideal for those who wish to live in a quiet, panoramic, yet well-served context. I technically would recommend, because the property is not very big, I would recommend it as a holiday home. This could be perfect place where to spend 1, 2 months, 15 days, anyway, without spending big amount of money. Also, this area is quite touristic because people from Rome like each time they're leaving the city, they like to go in the towns in the outskirts of Rome. And also, anyway, we are in the route to Fiuggi, this lovely town famous for the water and for the very good quality properties of the water. The property is distinguished by its welcoming and functioning environment, enhanced by a splendid exposure and livable outdoor spaces. So we also have terraces. On the first level, there is a bright living area with a dining room and a fireplace, and an open plan kitchen, a bathroom with a shower, and a comfortable small terrace perfect for moments of relaxation. So, let's say ground floor, here they call it first level. We have an open space with kitchenette, dining table, and living area. The second level houses a comfortable bedroom, so we have only one bedroom, but we have another bathroom, a service bathroom, so it's an ensuite. Technically, for such a small property to have two bathrooms, it's simply amazing. And two balconies. So the bedroom upstairs on the second floor, on the second level, let's say, has two balconies that ensure excellent brightness and open views. The property is completed by a practical storage room below the house and an adjacent cellar of approximately 20 square meter. So we have a storage room and adjacent cellar under the house on the ground floor. The house is equipped with independent natural gas heating and is fully served by water, electricity, and sewage networks. So, which is also a big extra, a big plus. For more information or to schedule an appointment, don't hesitate, and so on. Basic features: terraced house, two floors, 60 square meters built, 700 square feet, two rooms, two bathrooms, three balconies, let's say one terrace and two balconies, good condition, storage room, built in 1940, natural gas, energy efficiency rating, quite low. Anyway, they have G, but the consumes, because the property is not big, are quite low. Anyway, here we have few pictures of the exterior part. which anyway we can see the first level terrace, the balcony on the one balcony on the second level, and then there is another balcony. Now let's focus here 1 second on the floor map. So S1 is the ground floor with these storage rooms. Then ground floor, piano terra, where we have, let's say, the living area. We have the entrance, the terrace, then the stairs, few steps which are leading to the terrace. From the terrace, we enter into the room, cucina, tinello, so dining, kitchen, with the stairs and the window. Also, we have two windows. Actually, we have the main entrance plus a window, and the stairs leading up to the second level, where we have the bedroom, one balcony on the bottom, another balcony on the right hand side, and another toilet. So we have two bathrooms, piano primo, first floor. Okay, price per square meter. Now, 27,000 euro is the asking price. 450 euro per square meter is the price of the house. Now, personally, I would try to bring the price down to 350 euro per square meter. Simply because, again, the property is not very big. There's always, anyway, little works to do in this type of properties. But overall, I consider 450 a bit too high. Let's say, in my opinion, the perfect price should be, let's say, around 21, 20, 22,000. Maybe even try to offer 20,000. Okay, statistics. Before we go and read have a look at the pictures, we have the statistic which says listing updated on the 13th of July, which I believe was probably listed. Okay, anyway, today I'm recording on the 24th of July, nearly 11 a.m. So in 11 days, 368 views, reasonable. It's reasonable to have this amount of views, let's say, in this area, but we can even think that maybe the property was listed even before, simply because we noticed that the price was reduced from 33 down to 27. This made me think that probably the listing was just updated. 368 views since it was listed, one email inquiries, so not very big interest, let's say, which it might be good from one side. So we don't really have to compete with other buyers if we are interested in this property. 8 times saved to favorite. Anyway, we are in Frosinone province. It's not really a well-known by foreigners, let's say. That's why probably the people who had a look to this picture probably are mainly Italians. Could be people from Rome who are searching for a second house in the outskirts, simply to get out from the hustle and bustle of the city. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's focus now on the pictures of the house. So we are at the ground level. We have few steps which are leading to the terrace, and where from the terrace we have the main entrance to the, let's say, kitchen, dining, living space. Then we can see the basement, the ground floor, where we have this cellar and storage room. Okay, here we have another view of the property, and so we can see the same, the main entrance. Let's start from the basement level, the entrance of the storage room, the first floor, the ground floor, let's say, and then the first floor with the balcony, with the roof and the bedroom. Okay, here we have another view of the house. So we have neighboring houses. We are not completely isolated. And so this is a view of the terrace, which is kind of spacious enough anyway to enjoy outdoor moments and with a lovely view with the surrounding hills. We see, anyway, the outdoor area, olive groves, woods, and anyway, lovely towns as well around. Perfect place where to enjoy nature, not far from the city. Okay, this is the view. Also, we see the neighboring houses, which are well looked after, lovely area. Okay, again, another view. I think here we are from the balcony on the first floor. And again, I can say this is the second balcony. So there are two balconies. This is not facing the front side. On the first floor, there are two balconies where the bedroom is. I'd say this is the second balcony that is not facing the front side of the house, but is facing the side. And we have, anyway, a beautiful view around. This is the same view that we had from Google Street View, which I just showed you before. And so, lovely area. This is the cul-de-sac that I showed you before. And the house is in this area where the arrow is pointing. Okay, let's enter in the house now and let's have an idea about this property, which is the most important part of the video, let's say. But first of all, I would say, okay, there's not big amount of furniture. I believe nobody is living at the moment. Probably was used as a second home, or probably someone inherited this property. But overall, we see that the property is in a good condition. I can tell you from the electrical system, that is fine. I see is in a quite good condition, renovated not long time ago. Floor tiles, which are fine, also kind of not extremely new, but we see that went through renovation. Um, the main door looks fine. I see one radiator. We see one bathroom. Okay, the kitchen, which is also looks quite new. Anyway, not the best kitchen on the planet, obviously, but anyway, if they would sell the property furnished, I would take this type, in particular the kitchen. I would take it. Okay, the space is quite generous, let's say. Obviously, we have only one room on the ground floor and one room on the first, but spacious enough. We probably, because the property is 60 square meters, I'd say it's divided in 30 and 30 square meters, 30 square meters per each floor. We see there are two radiators, and which is extremely good. That means that the consumes would be even lower, simply because you don't really need to heat a lot to heat a, let's say, decent sized space. Okay, here we have another corner of the room with the window facing the side, so it's a bright room. We have lovely stairs leading up to the first floor in a good condition. I see also the space for a living corner. To be honest, for me, the table now here is too much in the center of the. I would move the table simply beside, on the left hand side of the stairs, where on the left we have the fireplace. So basically, I would move the table closer to the kitchen to leave more space simply to the other part of the room to make it a livable space. But again, so we have a lovely fireplace. That means that we can consume even less during the wintry months, because with this fireplace, you can easily heat all the house. You can heat the ground and the first floor easily. But overall, I would pay the attention to the good condition of the property. And here we are in the bedroom. So spacious, quite spacious and generous bedroom. So we see the stairs here, the white part just beside the balcony door. To the left, we have the landing area. This is probably the balcony that we just saw the picture facing the side of the house. The floor tiles are fine. Everything looks fine. This is the balcony that is facing basically the the front side of the house. We see a decent radiator, electrical system, everything fine. In my opinion, if I'm able to bring this property, let's say down to 22,000, that would be the perfect price. Extremely reasonable. Again, not big, but a lovely retreat for someone who, I'd say, to live all the year around in such a small property, technically is possible for a couple, without that not doesn't need really big amount of spaces. But let's say that we have two bathrooms, and that makes a difference. Let's say the fact to have two bathrooms. Now, this is one bathroom, which we don't know if it's on the ground. This should be the bathroom on the ground floor. Now, by what I see, by this window here, which is facing the terrace at the entrance level, obviously here I would change the toilet, bidet, maybe the sink. I would keep this one. Overall, the bathroom is in a good condition. And this is the second bathroom, which is a service bathroom, it says. So probably we don't have a shower here. I don't see. We have the shower in this bathroom. I can foresee here on the left, at the bottom on the left, the shower and also the curtain here. But going up again to the first floor, again, here I don't see. But it's always nice anyway to have an extra bathroom. Okay, here we have the storage room and the cellar, which is a quite interesting space. Okay, simply because we have a window. So this could be a lovely hobby room, definitely. So even if the house, let's say, is quite small, but the fact to have an extra room like this, for example, I could make a hobby room, a studio, a reading room. Okay, I don't know if there is a heating system here, probably not, but anyway, it's possible to arrange something. Okay, we have electricity here. We have the main entrance. Obviously, needs to be looked after. Here, all we see is a lot of wine. They are big wine lovers. We see the big tanks here, big bottles. Okay, so basically, here we have the floor map. Quite interesting property. I'd say very hard to find anyway anything cheaper than this in a good condition. Okay, let's close everything now and let's go back on Google Maps. And now let's investigate a bit this area now called La Forma, the shape translated. This is Via G Felici, is a cul-de-sac. So we are in this hamlet called La Forma, in Serrone Municipality. And so we'll investigate a bit the area to understand if we have, for example, here we already have a business, which is probably a restaurant called La Ciociara. Very interesting. This area is called La Ciociaria. There is also a famous movie, a famous Italian movie called La Ciociara, which is a woman typical of this area. Anyway, so here we have restaurant, which I believe a lot of people from Rome are going to eat. I believe they make typical food, typical local, um, typical local food. Now here we have a shop that sells clothes. So we see a quite active town. Here we have this typical shop tabacchi where you can find many different type of usually it's also a bar. Let's see what else they have. Here we don't know what type of business is this, but we see that anyway, in a walking distance, we have different type of businesses. Let's keep walking a bit. So there is a mechanic, and anyway, few other shops, few other business activities. Fitness center. So there is a fitness center. Now let's. I lost the address here. Let me select again. Via G Felici, La Forma. Okay, just to give you an idea. And now we can check the distances to the main locations around this property. Anyway, on this street that we just walk around, we saw that there are bus stops. So I see butcher, I see different type of shops. Okay. Let's zoom out and let's start focusing on the distances to the main location. Now let's see if we want to go to Serrone, the closest. Okay, by transport here, by walk, it says 31 minutes, but not necessary to go by walk. And then 4 minutes, only 4 minutes by car. Okay, then let's focus now on two towns, two big towns. One is Frosinone, which is the capital of the province. So we reach Frosinone by car in 38 minutes, so 40 kilometers. Let's see by transport. Now, by transport, let's see here, the shortest takes 1 hour and 45 minutes. So let's see the details. So from Frosinone, we have one bus driving anyway to Serrone via Penestrina, which is the road where the property is. Then from the bus stops, 22 minutes by walk to reach the property. But technically, we have only one bus that goes from this area to Frosinone, which it takes 1 hour and 22 minutes, 69 stops. So that's why it takes so long, let's say, simply because it stops to collect many people who are going to Frosinone. Okay, let's go now here to Rome, and let's focus on Rome, how far we are. Okay, I believe there are direct buses. Here, for example, now is not showing, but okay, let's go back 1 second. Let's see, let's focus on this one, which it takes 1 hour and 44 minutes. So from Rome, we have a train that goes to this area called Colonna. From Colonna, then we have the bus that goes to Serrone, and then in 3 minutes by walk. So it takes to reach Rome by transport. Okay, we need to take two transports here. I believe there is also one bus, probably that brings us closer to Rome. And then from Rome, we need to take the metro or anyway, closer train. But overall, let's say 1 hour and 45 minutes, 1 hour and 44 minutes, which is not a crazy distance by transport. And let's see, by car, for someone who has a car. So to drive down to Rome city center takes 1 hour and 15 minutes. So let's say in a tiny bit more than 1 hour, we are already in Rome. Then I believe the sea is not very close. Let's check. For example, Anzio. So to go to the sea takes 1 hour and 40 minutes. I don't think there are closer destinations than Anzio. I can try another location. Maybe let's see Terracina, for example, which is another beautiful destination, seaside destination. 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is kind of reasonable. That's the same as much as it takes for me to drive and go to the seaside. That's what it takes from Montemilone to go to the beach where I go. 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is not a crazy distance. Over 1 hour and a half, I'd say, but 1 hour and 20 minutes, I drive it quite easily. And anyway, to go in the morning and come back in the evening if you don't want to spend a week just on the sea. But then consider that here we also have many beautiful destinations, that we are very close also to Abruzzo region, Avezzano. We are not very far from the ski resorts. Anyway, here it's famous because they cook extremely good dishes. So if you are a fan of the Italian cuisine, I think this is one of the area where they make the best dishes in Italy. Okay, my friends, I hope you have enjoyed this video. This property for sale here for 27,000 euro in a good condition, very interesting location, not extremely big, but at the same time in a good condition without renovations and two bathrooms. So, my friends, maybe even negotiable. I would try to drop personally from 20 to 22,000 maximum. If they don't accept 22,000, I would refuse. Let's say you are interested in this property, you make your offer for 22. If they refuse, search for something else. Let's say this is the price that personally I would give to this property. Okay, my friends, I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow for another property for sale in one of the beautiful regions of Italy. Bye!